Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. With August fast on its way out the door and the cold fall nights rapidly approaching, it's really got me in the mood for some nice warm comforting comfort food. So I'm going to be making a beef pot pie today, but instead of the traditional pie crust topping, I'm going to be topping this with like a cheesy drop biscuit topping. I do have a lot of ingredients, so the exact amounts will all be listed down in the description as always. But a quick run through of the basic idea of what I'm going to be using today are beef stock, stew meat, onions, mushrooms, peppers. I have a mixed variety of them. Celery, rainbow carrots. I have a fresh corn off the cob, some potatoes, a little bit of white wine, or if you have it, use red wine. I'm out. Some oil, a little bit of flour, tomato paste, and we're going to be adding some marmite into this just to kind of add a little special umami flavor. Now, if any of these vegetables are not to your liking or you're allergic to any of them, feel free to change them out. This is totally interchangeable here. For our biscuits, I've got some Bisquick, cheddar, green onions, butter, parsley, black pepper, and garlic powder, and some buttermilk. Like I said, that is quite the laundry list of ingredients, so let's go ahead and get moved over to the stove and we can start bringing our dish together. In my braising pan, I've already gone ahead and heated up my oil. It's just starting to smoke, so I'm going to drop in my stew meat and allow this to brown on all sides. While I'm letting this brown up on all sides, I'm going to very sparingly add just a little bit of salt. I don't want to get too crazy with it now. I'll be adding a little bit more to the vegetables later. And I do believe Marmite is slightly on the salty side, as well as the beef stock I'm going to be using. Now that the meat has browned on all sides, I'm going to go ahead and remove it from my pan. I'm going to add in just a little bit more oil, just enough to help sweat our vegetables down. Speaking of, they are going to go in next. I'm going to lightly salt the vegetables, and then all I'm looking for here is for the onions to turn translucent and for the mushrooms to give off the majority of their moisture. I'm not really looking for my other vegetables to get soft. Those will do that later in the oven. Now that all the moisture from the mushrooms has evaporated, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and allow this to brown up just here in the center of the pan. Now that this has been going for a couple of minutes, I'm going to go ahead and stir it into the rest of my vegetables. Also stirring in my 2 tablespoons of flour. I literally only let the flour cook for a minute just to absorb any remaining moisture that was left over from the vegetables. And I've gone ahead and added in about a half of a cup of wine. And I'm just going to use that to help deglaze the pan and allow some of that alcohol taste to cook off. Now that that's cooked in, I'm going to go ahead and add my beef back in with any of the juices that are remaining. And yes, I did wash this dish after I had the raw meat in it before I put the brown meat back in, just in case you were wondering. Since my corn is raw, fresh off the cob, I'm going to go ahead and add it in now. If you were using frozen corn, you would add it in much later after it comes out of the oven. I'm also going to add in my potatoes and get all of this stirred together. I'm going to go ahead and add in some of my beef broth, probably about 3 cups for the amount that I've got. We'll start with that and see where we're at. I've ended up having to add almost that whole container of beef stock, but you know, depending on the amounts that you've used, you may need just a little bit less or a little bit more, just depending on how many vegetables you've used. I did really go overboard on the veggies, but I really wanted this kind of really veggie heavy laden. I'm going to add in probably about 2 teaspoons of the Marmite. This is going to really bring out those beefy flavors from the stew meat. I've gone ahead and seasoned it up with some black pepper. Now I want to make sure I get my Marmite stirred in. I want to quickly test this for seasoning. Check our salt level, make sure it's okay. Which it's perfectly salted. So I'm going to go ahead and add my lid to the top And this is going to go into a 375-degree oven for about an hour, or until the potatoes and the meat are nice and tender. It's almost time for me to pull the beef stew out of the oven, so I want to go ahead and mix up my biscuits. I'm going to start by adding my cheese into my Bisquick mix and my onions. And our spices. And then I'll just quickly toss until this is all well coated in that Bisquick mix. Now that those are incorporated, I'm going to slowly start adding in my buttermilk. I'm not going to go in with the full amount at first, probably about 2/3 of a cup of it, I'll say. And we'll see what we need. I may not need quite all of that. On this occasion, I've needed the whole entire amount of my buttermilk. Those look pretty good, and now all I need to do is wait for that beef stew to get out of the oven, and we can top it off with our biscuits. The beef stew is out of the oven, and I've gone ahead and already started topping it with some of our biscuits. I'm just going to evenly place them all around the top, and I've raised the oven temperature to 425 degrees. There's the oven reaching 425. Got those just a little bit too close. Kind of want to give them a little bit of separation there. There we go. That looks so much better. These are going to go back into the oven on 425 for about 20 more minutes, or until our biscuits are completely cooked all the way through and nice and golden brown on the top. So I'll see you once it's back out of the oven. To finish off the beef pot pie, I'm going to brush the biscuits with a little bit of melted butter and then top it with the tops from the green onions that I used earlier. Before I get in here and try this out, I just want to say that I did forget to mention that before I added the biscuits, that would have been the perfect time to add any frozen corn or frozen peas if that's what you're choosing to use. Just add them in, give it a good stir, and then put your biscuits on top and bake it for the 20 minutes. But I'm very excited for this. I've been looking forward to it all week. Now it is a little bit thinner than what I thought it was going to be. I probably could have gone ahead and added a little bit more flour because of all the beef stock that I had added due to the extra vegetables I had. But I think the biscuits are going to help soak up some of that broth, and it's going to be exactly what I'm looking for. Oh, I'm so excited. Y'all, you have no idea. This turned out so well. I don't even think I have the proper words to describe exactly how good it is. This is something you're definitely going to need to make for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I really do think this has replaced my favorite beef pot pie recipe, and this is how I'll be making it from now on in the future. But that is going to be it for me for the day. If y'all have enjoyed this video, leave me a comment down below. If you did try out this recipe, let me know how it turned out for you in the comment section below. And as always, thank y'all so very much for joining me today. I've been Volker. I hope y'all have enjoyed, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.